Welcome back to the Cycle Frontier. I took a little break from streaming for a while, and actually during that break, I spent some time at my parents' house, and I had a little bit of an interesting time there because the Cycle Frontier is the kind of game where you want to be playing it consistently. I mean, one thing that I've been doing, for instance, is trying to see if I can get my hard currency. Actually, let me move over here. Try to get my hard currency numbers up high enough that I can buy the season pass before the season expires. But that means checking in every single day, collecting my stuff, and sort of trying to make progress. And so I had to try to play this game when I was at my parents' house. Now, the problem with that is I've got a really nice modern PC. My parents have not upgraded their PC in over a decade, and because it's just for work. Like, you don't have to. They don't actually play a lot of PC games. And so I was at a machine that was probably below min-spec for this game. And so I had to actually play the game completely differently. And maybe I could talk about that a little bit once we get dropped into the world. But it's good to see folks in my chat again. Otto and Mr. Xbox and Caprane and Tendalince. Really good to see you all. Otto was saying that, I was commenting before the stream officially started that I'm... that I forgot how to stream. I don't know how this works anymore. And Otto said that it's just like riding a bike. And Caprane said, I recently fell off my bike. So I actually just bought a new bike because I haven't actually biked at all since my early 20s. And that used to be the main way I would get exercise. And now I'm completely out of shape. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to be 50 in a few years. I really need to figure out something to do to stay in shape. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's deploy. Let's get out there. Actually, before we deploy, let's have a look at what I'm bringing with me. So I'm trying now to sort of catch up with some of the objectives and things that I was not able to do while I was out. And so I've been making some progress in some of the faction missions. One of them is, if I want to get some Korolev script, which I need for some of my upgrades to my den, I need to stash a heavy mining tool in the underground elevator dead drop. So if I get close to that, that's a thing I can do. I need to deliver rare data drives, which is an interesting mechanic, which if we end up in the position to do that, I'll try to do that. I also need to hunt creatures at the base camp and the vaccine labs. And this is telling me I need to kill some prospectors. I suck at that so much. We're just going to not worry about whether that's going to happen. But yeah, so I'm bringing in my inventory, I'm bringing a heavy mining tool that I can stash. I've never actually used a heavy mining tool. In fact, I'm not even sure how to use them. So if we get the opportunity, maybe that'll be fun to explore. I've got a data drive so that I can turn it into a rare data drive. And I'm bringing probably the most useless key in the game because some of the places I need to go to do this other stuff is kind of close to the location where you'd use this key. And so if we get the opportunity, maybe we'll see how keys work. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that we could do. So let's deploy to Fortuna 3 and figure out what our best options are. And here we go. So, yeah, the problem that I was facing playing on a very crappy old PC was the fact that my frame rate was very low. I had a significant amount of input lag, and my internet connection was also not that great. And so basically, I was incapable of fighting, like, with ranged weapons. Like, I just plain could not. And even with melee weapons, like, my input lag was so bad. If you have a look at this, you click, and that happens pretty quick. But this does not actually kill a Strider. If you try to do that to the simplest, easiest enemy in the game, they don't actually die very quickly. You have to hold it down, charge it up, and then hit them. But that's got enough input delay that I had a lot of trouble timing it and setting it up so I was actually hitting the guys. So occasionally, if there was only one Strider, I could sneak up on it and kill it. Otherwise, any kind of combat was just out of my reach. And so what I learned to do was just run away from everything. And so I played a very, very sort of cautious, scared version of the game at that point. And it was a very different experience, kind of a stealthy experience. It was kind of neat. Okay, I've got a heavy mining tool. I've never actually used this before, but here's a place I can mine. So let's just see what happens. Oh, that sounds like a machine gun. Oh, this is actually freaking me out. If somebody hears this, they probably think I'm dangerous. I mean, that was definitely quicker than a pickaxe, but now I'm nervous that I've been heard. and somebody's going to come after me. So let me go quickly get myself to a place that nobody usually wants to go. This is just like, there's nothing useful up here. Nobody likes to go up here. So I'm going to hide up here for just a second while we figure out what we're going to do. So we're actually in a pretty good spot because I need to kill creatures at the vaccine labs, which is right here. The key that I have goes up here. And the north uplink and the southeast uplink are both kind of within reach. Probably, I guess, I don't want to try to extract all the way down to the down here. So maybe what we're going to do is let's go to the vaccine labs first, see if there's some creatures to kill. Let's head over to the east collection point to drop off that heavy mining tool. Let's go over to the north uplink to try to grab a rare whatever to upgrade my data drive. And then maybe go through the woodcutter camp to escape to the waterfalls. We might be able to do everything, presuming I'm not just instantly killed by another player, which is absolutely another possibility. At any point, this entire elaborate plan could just be completely destroyed by me encountering another player. Now, I don't have to... we're not even going to question whether or not I'm capable of killing another player. I'm not. I mean, I have a few times now, but it's always just a stroke of luck when I do. I'm not very good at the combat in this game. It's not the kind of shooter combat that I'm just accustomed to. You know, I'm very trained up on Call of Duty. I tend to... Oh, I wonder if I can go this way. You know, if winning at combat is all about being the person who saw the other person first and took the first shot, that's great. That works for me. That's how Call of Duty is. If it's about being able to sort of circle strafe, track, jump, you know, dodge, that sort of thing, I'm way, way less good at that. And the people who are good at this game are good at that skill. So this is the vaccine lab. It tends to have a lot of monsters, first off. And it also tends to... I just heard the distinctive sound of another player landing nearby. So let's be quiet. So killing these guys with the knife means you don't make bullet sounds, which is great. The problem is that last guy, you do need to make bullet sounds to kill. Now the question is just, do I care enough about killing that guy? Let's think about it for a second. How many do I need to kill? I just need to kill one more creature at the vaccine lab. There's another player nearby. They might come and kill me for this, but you know what they can't do? They can't take this kill away from me. They can take my loot. They can't take my kills. So I'm going to do it anyway. I'm risking everything by announcing myself to every player nearby. Now, if I'm smart, what I'm going to do at this point is flee the area, go somewhere else. But before I do that... Ooh, I just heard another noise. I think that might have just been like a meteor or something. Ah, somebody already grabbed it. There's sometimes a weapon in that case. But it looks like either it never spawned or somebody else showed up. I feel like I keep hearing noises. This game makes you paranoid, especially if you're playing in stealth mode for a long time, like I was at my parents' house. Okay, let's grab these and stick them in my safe pockets. And then let's go to the back. Okay, so the next place I wanted to go was East Collection Point. So one way I can get there is taking the tracks. The tracks let you avoid conflict with enemies on the ground, but they also make you highly visible to other players. So I'm not sure if this is a good idea. This might just be putting myself in somebody's crosshairs. In fact, the other day, the last time I went actually to the vaccine labs, there was somebody sniping, like way up here, maybe on these cliffs, or I don't know where they were. They were somewhere. I never found them. But somebody was sniping up there, and just any time you were out in the open, you were just getting like headshotted by somebody with a bolt-action rifle. And it was kind of fun, actually, because I was able to escape, and I got away. So it was just, you know, it was like a little bit of a stealth challenge, trying to figure out where I could take cover and where I couldn't. But yeah, so over here, this is the East Collection Point that I'm coming up on, that the track is leading to. And what I need to do here is drop off at a dead drop the heavy mining tool that I had. So let's just avoid this little rattler guy. Okay, he's sleeping. I think that means I can sneak past. Oh, he can see me. Oh, dang it. He just barely saw me. Okay. Let's de-aggro that dude. Turn enough corners and they lose sight of you, which is great. Problem is I just ran. Running is like stomping, you know, through a creaky floor. Everybody can hear you. And okay, that is the distinctive sound of somebody else's pod landing. So somebody else might have landed here. This is not, this area, the east collection point, is not the most popular area. It's mainly valuable for this locked door. And so I'll try to actually address that locked door in just a second. But first, I'm going to make the dead drop. So the nice thing about dead drops is that you don't have to escape with them. You can die right after you make the dead drop and you still get credit for it. It's not like when you have to deliver things to the factions where you actually have to make it out of the level alive. Since I frequently don't make it out of the level alive, those are always extra stressful. But dead drops are nice because you make the dead drop and then the dead drop is made. You don't have to survive at that point. But the downside is, whatever it is you're dropping in the dead drop, you have to actually bring it with you a lot of the time. Like, you can find it in the world, but finding a particular thing in the world is actually not that easy to do. You know, it's all just very random. You know, it's not very, nothing is very reliable to find. And so usually you end up sort of taking the risk of bringing something with you and then trying to make it to the dead drop alive. And sometimes making it to the dead drop alive is where I fall down. So Zedric von Kotmel says that he doesn't really care for PvP in general. Like, he'll sometimes try it out if he's playing a game that he likes, but otherwise he'll kind of avoid it. You know, I'm kind of the same way. Like, now and then I'll find a game that I love enough that I really want to try out the PvP version of it, and sometimes I'll get into it. Call of Duty is probably one of the only PvP games, like where it's really, really focused on PvP, that I've gotten super into long term. Otherwise, generally, it just gets frustrating, especially when there's high stakes like there are in this game. Okay, so this is the puzzle. So you've got these two force fields here, and I think that the way I solve this puzzle might not actually be the way that's intended by the level designers. I'm not sure. It feels like I'm solving it in a cheap way. But those force fields are up. Now, I'm fairly secure in here because no one can come through this door because of these lasers. But if I remove that, the lasers go away. But also, these force fields go away. Now, that door slams, which is, you know, potentially a problem. And I just keep thinking, how to open that door has got to be some kind of official challenge, right? But I haven't quite been able to figure out what I'm supposed to do about that, because basically what I usually end up doing is, after looting random low-level goods, is just using an emergency handle to open this door and just run out with each of the batteries. But let me actually try something. I don't know if I've ever actually tried putting both batteries in there. What does that do? That just closes the force fields. Well, that's not valuable at all. So yeah, so I feel like there's some kind of complicated puzzle in here that I'm supposed to figure out in some very clever way. But here's what I end up doing. I just pull the emergency exit, run over here, and then drop each of the batteries outside. And this has the whiff of an unintentional solution. This doesn't feel like what the level designer intended, but it works, so I do it. So here we go. Okay, so now because people could be coming through these doors at any time, I've got to be a little bit nervous here. There's some nice prizes for completing this puzzle, but yeah, I just heard another pod land. So Usually when people come here, when people come to Fortuna 3, they're looking to make money, they're looking to get particular things, like particular resources. This specific area, it doesn't seem to be a huge magnet. Like, sometimes I find it already looted, but usually I don't. And I don't know if I've ever actually encountered somebody in here. That doesn't mean I won't encounter them this time. They absolutely could show up. But so far, this hasn't seemed that dangerous. So that's one reason I thought this might be a good one to do on the stream, because you can sort of see how the door unlocking puzzles in this game work without necessarily just watching me get frustrated by having one just absolutely fail on me. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It could easily be that the person who just dropped in, they came here specifically to go on the same mission I was, to drop something in this dead drop, and they're going to show up and just murder the heck out of me. So I got to be cautious. Like, part of me just wants to run to get this done quickly, but running makes noise. I might actually, somebody who was just going to bypass this area would hear my footsteps and decide, you know what I want to do? Kill some noob. Did I just hear... I feel like I might have just heard a door open. Am I crazy? If somebody's in here, I do not want to be holding a thing in front of my eyes. Okay, I thought I maybe had heard that door open, but I guess not. But it could have been a different door in the same complex. Or I could be crazy. Maybe I heard something else and my brain read it as a door. There are a lot of sounds in this game that are deceptive. There's one in particular that I don't understand what it's supposed to be. It's sort of a squishy, crackly, squelchy noise. Yeah, that's the third thing, which opens this door over here. But basically, anytime you're walking around, like, near water... pistol. Okay, not that great. There's this little squelchy noise that sounds like somebody else's footsteps. Or it sounds like a twig breaking. And I'm just constantly hearing that and going, somebody's behind me. Somebody's just to my right. And even though I know, I've heard that sound a million times, I know it's not a person's footsteps. I've been trained by, like, decades of cinema to hear a twig snapping as a warning that somebody else is there. Okay, so I've looted that place. I've actually filled up my backpack with neat stuff. And so now I'm a little bit nervous. So I could go to the north uplink. But, you know what? Well, the north uplink, getting that rare data drive, or getting at least an uncommon data drive, won't actually fill up my inventory any more than it's already full. What it will do, though, is attract attention and potentially get me killed and let me lose all the stuff that I've already got. So whether this is a good idea is questionable, but this is also a stream, and doing questionable things to entertain people on a stream is fun. So I should probably do it. Okay, I just heard a rattler. I'd like not to be attacked by a rattler. Not because I'm scared of the rattler, but because I'm scared of the noise I will make fighting it, which could result in me getting killed by someone else. Okay, there's a rattler down there. Okay, I think... Okay, he's falling asleep. That's the north uplink right there. If I keep my distance from him... Ooh, storm incoming. Oh, that'll be interesting to see. People aren't usually out a lot during a storm, so that might actually be a fun time to kind of run around and mess with stuff. Now, if I wanted to just avoid the storm altogether, I could make a beeline right now for my extraction. I could probably make it in time, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna try this nonsense instead. Okay, so this is how uplinks work. I've got this thing in my inventory called a data drive, and I insert it in this little hole right here. And then ooh, somebody was killed here previously. I start it, and it makes a bunch of noise, and it attracts a bunch of creatures, and also other players. I just picked up radio equipment. That was probably a bad idea because, yeah, I no longer have room in my inventory. Where did that... There it is. Let's take that out. So, any creatures that are around here are going to converge. Now, if somebody already died here recently, they might have killed a bunch of the creatures. And so there might not be any creatures to converge. Oh, nope, there's one. Maybe just one, though, if I'm lucky? Okay, that worked. But it's now this data drive that I entered, it's uncommon, but I need to make it rare. So I'm going to start another download to make it rare. I'm actually supposed to deliver, like, to various jobs, like 4 or 5 different rare data drives, and so I got to do this many times. I'm not going to do them all in one go. Oh, hey there, buddy. How did you find me? There you go. Oh, there's another one. So yeah, so this thing is already making a lot of noise, so it's probably okay if I shoot monsters. But I'm also bad at everything, so... And not every player necessarily knows what this sound means. And so, I mean, there's, you know, the world is full of noobs, and so it could be if I don't fire my gun, there could be some players who just don't know that I'm sitting here with a bunch of loot. Once this thing is done, I can just grab it and flee. Okay, I've got a rare data drive. And now I'm just gonna de-aggro this rattler. Get out of here. That might be the same rattler that I saw before. Okay, let me go... Wait a minute. Oh, that's a... Okay, there was a strider over there. I thought it might have been a human. Let's drop down here. Okay, I think I'm far enough away now that somebody who comes after me up there won't necessarily see me down here. So where am I headed? Okay, I want to head east to the woodcutter camp. Just so we can show you how keys work. But it's also on the way to my extraction, so not a bad move. Oh, by the way, I'm just noticing that it looks like my performance is probably down again. Sorry about that if you're getting like choppy frame rate. This might have to be the last time I stream this game because, you know, I've been able to make it, you know, perform okay before, but if I'm having trouble maintaining consistent frame rates and it's getting annoying to watch, then I should probably switch to playing other things. I'm probably going to keep playing this on my own time. Oh, crap. That was me missing. There we go. But I might not stream it anymore if I can't get it to perform well. Okay, so the storm is coming. Hardcore. Which means there's going to be a lot less humans out and about, though not 0. Because there's actually resources you can only get during a storm. There's mushrooms that you can pick that basically become a different mushroom during a storm. There are the things that are dropped by the enemies that I'm killing become a different version of themselves when they're dropped during a storm. So, if I get into a little bit of trouble during the storm, that's probably fine. Okay, somebody's calling in their extraction. Oh, just in time. Extraction is now disabled. Where am I relative to the woodcutter camp? Is up there. Okay. Okay, so now the real storm is about to start. That means it's going to get dark. There's going to be lightning strikes. And enemies that I fight will drop new stuff. Now, I probably won't be able to pick up the new stuff because my backpack's full. You can see, oh, look, a green thing instead of the usual orange thing. And lightning strikes. So I have to keep moving so I'm not struck by lightning. Oh, what is this? Oh, another thing? Ha, the lightning killed them. Sweet. All right. Almost there. So I can probably take shelter in the woodcutter camp during the storm and maybe just chat with you all because I have the key. So there are doors around in the world that are locked, and you can get a key for that door. So I am carrying the key for this door, for instance. So I can turn it on, and now I'm inside, and I'm safe from the weather effects of the storm, and nobody's looted this place. Cool. So, okay, a bunch of rusty stuff. I don't actually have room in my inventory to pick stuff up. If I'd found something good in here, then I would probably have made room for it. But it looks like it's a bunch of low-level heals and some rusty guns, which are sort of the lower quality guns. I've got some low-level, like, easy-to-get loot here that I could probably actually drop out to get the better stuff. So yeah, I mean, I will definitely use these consumables. And I would use this ammo. So it's not bad to pick it up, but... There, okay, so I picked up the stuff I wanted. Let me get back a few things. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I think we're just going to ride out the storm, but the storms typically last about 5 minutes, and as long as you're indoors, you're safe from everything except, of course, humans coming and opening the door. And you'll notice that once I unlock the door stays unlocked, so another human can follow me in here. I can't just treat it like I'm safe. So Rosenberg came in and hasn't seen me stream this before and asked, what kind of game is this? Is this PvP? So yeah, to just explain it for those of you who are new to this game, this is a Cycle Frontier. It's called an extraction shooter, and I haven't played any other extraction shooters. I believe that Hunt Showdown is the same kind of game. Vigor might be related. I'm not sure. I actually have just downloaded both of those games so I can try them out because I've been enjoying this despite the sort of difficulty and frustration of it. I still ended up liking it. But the basic idea is you drop into a map that's got a lot of randomly distributed resources. You're there to sort of use your understanding of the map and its rules to go and collect as much as you can, collect particular things that like missions are sending you to get, that sort of thing. There's monsters there that can fight you. You got to deal with those. Some of them are harder than others. But the real threat is the fact that other players are dropped into the same map that you are. They also want loot, and particularly the easiest way for them to get loot is if they can kill you and take yours. So all of the incentives of the game are lined up around not cooperating with people you meet, but killing them and taking their stuff. And so it makes it a really brutal PvP sort of game, where you know that in theory, people don't have to kill you. And so whenever they do, it feels a little personal. So not only is it frustrating because you lose a lot of you spend a lot of time collecting resources and then you lose it all, or you even like bought things back at base, brought them with you into the game, and then lost them. Not only is it frustrating because of that, but it's also frustrating because of the needlessness of it all. Like in Call of Duty, you're never mad at somebody for killing you because that's the whole point of the game. Because here, killing people is mostly optional, except in self-defense, or there's certain missions that push you to do it, but mostly it's optional. It always feels like somebody just decided to kill you. So MacMert says that I think Hunt Showdown is a good alternative to this game. So yeah, so I've been thinking of trying it out because I ended up liking this game. I've been avoiding Hunt Showdown just because I was like, oh, that seems really hardcore and scary. I'm not sure if I'm going to be into it. Because I've liked this game, maybe I'd end up liking that game, or maybe that game is even better for me than this one. I have no idea. So one thing that happens... Oh, wait, actually, let me drop that. One thing that happens during a storm is stuff will respawn. Enemies will respawn that you've killed. Objects will respawn that you've looted. I don't think they respawn consistently everywhere, but I think that like certain places, maybe less inhabited places, will be restocked during the storm. I just want to come over because I realized now that I've sort of made some sacrifices in my inventory, I've got room to pick up those things that those guys dropped during the storm, so I'm going to get them. I actually am not sure what they're for, but I'm grabbing them anyway. Okay, so now I just want to get to extraction. Now, during the storm, no new players get added. And right before the storm, a lot of players extract. And so this seems like the safest time for me to run over to a commonly populated area and extract there. In theory, but nothing's ever 100%. Somebody else could easily have holed up during the storm just like me. Somebody might be about to drop in on top of me. But theoretically, like playing the odds, I think I'm safest to just sort of rush my extraction right now, when it's least likely that other players will be here. Oh, there's a rattler I just don't want to deal with. Oh, too late. I'm going to deal with him. All right, well, we're just going to go and run away. And he's going to fire his breath laser at me. And press Y to call the evac ship. So my evac ship lands right up here. I'm going to summon it. And now I got to wait for it. It looks like players have not been through here yet. Oh wait, no, somebody has looted that and this. Okay, so somebody has been through here before. In fact, that earlier extraction that I witnessed might have been at this spot. So yeah, somebody has already been here. Like checking out whether or not somebody has been here before is, you know, sometimes it'll tell you whether or not you want to loot the place, because it might not be worth it if you think somebody's already cleaned it out. But also it might be a hint that somebody's already here and that you need to be scared. So Macbert says Hunt Showdown is actually 100 times tenser than this game, and he's actually scared to play it. Okay, well that does make it sound like, I don't know, maybe it's an experience worth having, but maybe it won't be my long-term favorite. We'll have to see. I know that its vibe is definitely much more like horror. Oh, crap. Hey, please don't kill me, man. Okay, I gotta keep firing at him. Keep him away. Nope. Keep firing at him. Yes! Okay. I fired at him mostly just to scare him away and keep him from focusing on me. But we got out just in time. That was really, really tense. Okay, cool. Awesome. So, we got a rare data drive. We need 3 of them, so I need to go do that, 2 more times. I haven't made progress on much other things. Oh, but we killed more creatures at the vaccine lab, so we got that. And we finished this. We finished a bunch of missions. And this guy, I did more damage to him than he did to me. So actually, if I'd stayed around a little bit longer, I might have successfully killed him, which would have been fun. Whew. All right. Okay, so let's see here. Trump Smooth wants to know if they can ask me a State of Decay 2 question while I'm playing this game. Yeah, sure. Go ahead if you want to. I'm just going to go through my usual wrap-up here. So I'm just going to drop off all the stuff I picked up that is not actually necessary for my current loadout. And I don't need this or this. Don't need that. Get rid of that and that and that. You'll notice my stash. Oh, you can't actually see what my stash is doing. You see my stash here is filling up. This is another problem that I had. So while I was at my parents' house playing this game, because I knew I was just going to die all the time, I never wanted to bring valuable stuff with me. So I would actually go with I wasn't going to be able to effectively use a gun anyway, so why bring a gun with me that I was going to die and lose? Like, that just wasn't worthwhile. So I would never bring a gun. I would just bring a knife. I would occasionally bring armor if I felt like I could afford it, but usually I wouldn't even bring armor. I would just try to avoid conflict altogether. But what that meant was, every time I found a weapon, it would go into my stash and stay there. Every time I found armor, it would go into my stash and stay there, and I would never lose it. And so my stash filled completely up, and I had to actually very carefully choose which things I was going to keep and which things I wasn't, because everything was just so, like, space was at such a premium. And so I was actually kind of relieved when I came back here and I was actually, willing to risk stuff again, because it meant that I didn't have nearly as much inventory pressure as before. Okay, so let's complete this excavation job. Yay, I got some prizes. Not very many prizes. That wasn't a hard job, but there we go. And then another delivery mission. See, okay, so this mission is much more valuable. Give me 8 Korolev script. The problem is, I don't even know where to get derelict explosives. I think I might have to craft it or something. And where does it... I don't even know where it... So I need to... Okay, you know what? I'm going to accept this and try to find out where they come from, because it's probably valuable information for me, but there you go. So Trupsmooth says, the builder leader in State of Decay 2 has a mission to build a sniper tower, which I find odd when I have a Clio installed. Will this be changed one day? Oh, that is interesting. I mean, the chances of us going back through and revising all those old legacy missions is probably kind of low. Actually, the thing that's weird about it is, honestly, associating the sniper tower with the builder was always a sketchy decision, even before Cleo.
Is there something you need?
It was kind of we kind of realized very late in the process
I had full confidence
that we wanted to have something like some job for each of the leaders to do that involved building up the base, so the base wasn't irrelevant to completing the game. And so we basically assigned each of them, one particular facility that they could build, that they needed to build to sort of fully express themselves. And we chose them, but the problem is we chose them from among the facilities we had already created. And so the builder making the sniper tower, it's not the best fit anyway. And so, but what I'm saying is, because it was already a sketchy decision on the day we made it, the fact that there's just another reason why it's a sketchy decision now might not actually change the calculus all that much. It was already sketchy, and so the fact that we made it more sketchy doesn't necessarily mean it'll change our decisions. Ooh, hunting creatures with a sniper rifle. That's actually a really easy one to complete. I'll grab that one. Awesome. And then I don't think there's anything back at my little den that I need to upgrade, but I'm gonna go look at it anyway. So Antlion Eater wants to know if they can talk to me about cut State of Decay 2 features. I mean, I'm unlikely to talk about features that I think players might enjoy that we didn't include, just because that just sounds like a recipe for frustrating and disappointing people. But go ahead and ask your question. I'll see how comfortable I am answering it. Okay, yeah. So I need some more Korolev script, which means which means finding out how to. In fact, yeah. If I can just figure out how to get derelict explosives, I can complete this, and then I can get a larger stash size, which is really good. I also, what that means is I need to go to the jungle. I'm betting that the derelict explosives can probably be found in the jungle, and the jungle is also where I can get aluminum scrap and nutritional bars. And so the problem is the jungle is the most dangerous place, and it's actually got an enemy in there that I've never beaten. I've never actually defeated a marauder, and maybe that's just because I feel a kinship to them, because colloquially the marauder enemy is called Jeff. By people in the community, and so maybe I just don't want to kill Jeff, but also he's hard, and I'm not very good at this game. So, but that might mean, in order to upgrade my quarters one more time, I need to get some stuff that only Jeff drops when he dies. So I am gonna have to learn how to fight Jeff. I just can't do it yet. Antlion Eater says it apparently was plowing through data in State of Decay 2 and found some files that were about imposter humans. What are they? So there wasn't a mechanic for imposter humans. I think that might just be a name that that sounds familiar. I think I used that word, but I think it was probably just tied to a mission. I probably had, there was some mission I was working on that never got completed, where there was a character whose role in the story was to be an imposter of some kind. And so I probably made a character schema, which is like the data that we use to generate a new character. I probably made one that was for the imposter character, and that's why it has that name. That's probably why I ran into it. I don't think it was any kind of special mechanic or anything. It was probably just content. I literally don't remember what it was though. So I'm sorry I can't give you any more information about that. It was probably 4 years ago that I was doing it, or more. So it's been lost to the whims of time. Ranath Court says, like the fake trader that attacks you. Yes, in fact, it might have been something along those lines. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what that is. It could very well be that that's not a cut mission or a neglected mission. That could be that actually might be exactly what that's for. It might be that mission with the trader that turns against you. Yes, I think that's what it was. Ranath Court, that rings true enough to me that I'm willing to say that, yeah, I think that's what those are for. That was for that mission where somebody poses as a traitor, is actually a murderer, and I probably called them the imposter, and when I generated their character schema, I called it the imposter schema. So there we go. Just catching up with the chat here a little bit, making sure that I'm not forgetting anything. So MacMert asks, if I want to buy State of Decay on Steam, can I access my save files from the version of the game that I got on the Microsoft Store? So yeah, Raneth Cord points out. So I didn't actually know the answer to that question, but Raneth Cord did answer the question. Says that yes, there is the saves are separate, but you can manually move the saves over. But they won't be kept in sync between. Right. So the two basically have separate save files, and there's a way you can transfer them, but that's it. I think. Yeah. So I don't actually have personal knowledge of this. This is the one of those technical parts of the game that usually is somebody else's problem to solve. But if Raneth Cord knows, then definitely listen to Raneth Cord because he's much more likely to know the answers to questions like that than I am. Antlion Eater says, "What was the plan for the drivable plane?" So there is, I believe that there is sort of a file somewhere in our game that is for a plane that you can, an airplane that you can actually drive. But I don't think there was a specific plan for it. Not everything that you find in game files was made as a part of like a big elaborate top-down plan where somebody was like, you know what's going to be a really important part of this game? Drivable airplane. That is going to be great. Sometimes you've got somebody who can make vehicles who, in their spare time, is like, you know, it would be funny if I made a drivable plane. And then they make a drivable plane. Everyone's like, yeah, that's pretty funny. And sometimes that funny thing gets in. Like, for instance, our character artist, we were still messing around with random ideas about what Cash Beaumont, the bounty broker, would look like. And we had a bunch of concept art we were working on and stuff like that. And then on a whim, in his spare time, our character artist made the Cash Beaumont that you see. And we were all like, oh, yes, concept art is great and all, but we shoved it aside. We were like, that guy's awesome. And so he ended up in the game exactly the way that Scott built him. But that wasn't like part of a top-down plan. Scott was not told to make a character like that. He just did, and then we got on board. So sometimes we get on board with stuff like that. Sometimes something doesn't find a place, and so the drivable plane, I think somebody made it like, hey, wouldn't this be neat? And we're like, yeah, that's pretty cool. But then just never implemented it because it wasn't really part of the plan. It didn't have a spot that it fit into the game. I think that's the story of the drivable plane. Somebody might know better than me. That's the vague. Again, a lot of this stuff happened 4, 5, 6 years ago. It's very likely that I've forgotten the details or even gotten things wrong. But that's my impression of it. Certainly, that is a thing that happens in general. Whether it's true of the drivable plane specifically, that is a thing that happens in general in the game industry. Antlion Eater says, is that the same with the RV then? I didn't even know somebody had made a drivable RV. So I guess, maybe, I don't know. I mean, there was an RV in Breakdown, so I could imagine somebody experimenting with something like that, but not actually making it to the game. But again, like, I'm not going to necessarily, because, for one thing, not only, it's like, a team has just got so many people on it, and each of them has got their area of expertise. A random team member is likely to be completely unaware of a lot of the weird stuff and experimentation that goes on the team if it doesn't make it into the final game. Like, usually only a narrow group of people will even be aware of what that thing was. If it was something that never really made it past the sort of like, here's a neat thing sort of stage. But yeah, so Trup Smooth is saying that there are people who have made mods to actually bring these things into the game, and that's great. Have fun. I'm glad people are doing that. Like taking our weird like cast stuff ideas and doing stuff with them. Anyway, so it is 1 o'clock, and even though I don't have a meeting right now, I do think I need to get some stuff done to prepare for meetings. So I should probably wrap this up if I can remember what my buttons do or where they live. There we go. So. Yeah, so anyway, so I think because I've been seeing some weird performance issues and stuff like that when I'm streaming this, that is probably the last time I'm going to stream the cycle unless something really big and weird and interesting happens. Because it's kind of cool. I think we actually got through all the stuff I wanted to get through. I got to show you, dead drops. I got to show you puzzle solving. I got to show you keys. I got to show you data drives. I got to show you storms. I got to show you me extracting under fire and barely making it. Like, that's a pretty good list of events. I think that we've kind of done, at least for me, the ultimate cycle stream. So I think we'll probably just put an end to it there, and I'm going to spend some time on some other games. Maybe we'll talk about a little bit after I wrap this stream up. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about what other games might be on the docket. So anyway, thank you for coming on this journey with me. I still really love this game, and I'm going to try out other games in this genre.